Welcome to Clarity Currents, the secret podcast with me, Danielle Laura, where I share weekly channeled messages about the energetics of the week and the areas of opportunity so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it and know how to leverage it for your highest level good in your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of July 21st through the 27th, 2025. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see a vision of this old snake skin slowly peeling away layer by layer. This week feels like a final shedding of false identities, especially around mental narratives and emotional weight that you've outgrown yet haven't fully released. We're being invited into sacred discomfort this week because we're finally ready to meet the truth. It looks like everything you've been clinging to that keeps you small is raw right now because it is time to come clean. This is about forgiving the versions of you who coped, survived, and protected your brilliance. Ask yourself, what identity am I still holding on to out of safety? Who am I becoming when I stop trying to be understood? The invitation this week is to let the old skin fall through permission. Let your truth rise unedited. This is a week of beautiful unraveling that makes space for true embodiment. Business for the week of July 21st. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a vision of a woman throwing outdated Post-its off of a glass wall and replacing them with one single golden sticky note that says, "Only the aligned." This is not the week to have commitment, tweak, or negotiate with your purpose. Everywhere you're acting from an outdated version of you is going to be highlighted this week, and you're being invited to reignite your leadership from the depths of your soul, not any past versions of your old personas. So ask yourself, what offers, roles, or ideas feel like they dilute my power? Where am I still building from obligation or outdated validation? Where am I being called to own my authority and be fully seen? This is a week to cut the dead weight and relaunch from truth, because your magnetism will increase in direct proportion to your embodiment. Relationships for the week of July 21st. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I see this image of a mirror breaking, but then behind it, the truest version of you is smiling back. This is a week of emotional friction that catalyzes clarity. There may be triggers, misunderstandings, even moments of tension, especially with those closest to you, but here's the opportunity. Every flare-up is revealing where you're either betraying your truth or being invited to claim it more fully. You're being asked to speak up for what you value, to take action on what your heart actually wants, and to set boundaries that reflect your worth. The invitation here is to burn the contracts of caretaking, self-abandonment, or spiritual bypassing, and commit to mutual alignment, devotion, and truth. Health for the week of July 21st. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, the vision here is of the nervous system unraveling like this tightly wound piece of yarn. Then it's gently being rewoven into something looser, stronger, and more breathable. This week, your body will ask you to slow down and soothe. Health-wise, this week may bring intense emotional detox symptoms, things like sleep disturbances, digestive flare-ups, even mental fatigue. So take this seriously. Allow yourself to rest, recalibrate, and reconnect to your parasympathetic state. Treat your nervous system like it is sacred. And tend to your inflammation emotionally and physically. Ask, what would it look like to support myself with radical softness this week? Wealth for the week of July 21st. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a vision of someone standing in their closet holding an outfit they used to love, one that used to fit, one that they used to feel powerful in, but now it just doesn't feel like them anymore. And then they pause, they stare at it, And then they finally just fold it up and let it go, decide they're going to give it away. But it's not because they don't love it anymore. It's just because they've simply outgrown it. This is how your wealth codes are going to feel this week. Old beliefs around money, worthiness, and success are surfacing so that you can honestly ask yourself, do I still choose this? And remember, it is a choice. You get to choose whether you want it or you don't, whether it still fits or whether it doesn't. Maybe your pricing no longer feels aligned. Maybe the way you earn no longer honors the way you're designed to receive. Maybe wealth for you is becoming less about the numbers and more about how fully your life supports your nervous system, your artistry, and your joy. Let yourself evolve your definition of wealth this week. Ask yourself, what if ease was profitable? What if your joy was your best investment? What if receiving wasn't something to earn, but something to allow? The invitation this week is to release the old outfit. Wealth is asking you to dress for the life you're actually building, not the one you've already outlived. Spirituality for the week of July 21st. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see a column of golden light descending from the cosmos and striking down into the solar plexus, activating willpower, voice, and clarity. This is an incredibly spiritually activating week because your soul wants and is ready to fully break free. Expect dreams, visions, synchronicities, and even spiritual tests. Expect a deeper desire to understand your soul's path and a strong intolerance for anything that drains you. Ask yourself, what am I afraid to say yes to, even though I know it's mine? What spiritual truth have I been resisting because it would require change? The veil is thin and the truth is clear, and it is your job to respond. And legacy for the week of July 21st. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, the vision here is a woman standing on this cliffside altar, holding a torch in her hand, lighting the first flame of generational revolution. This is a week to reclaim your power and recommit to your mission, because you are entering a new era in how you lead, serve, and show up for your calling. And this isn't just about what you're building. This is also about how you live, how you love, and how you embody what you teach. And that begins with radical self-respect. Ask yourself, where have I been making myself small in the name of relatability? What am I done apologizing for? What chapter am I ready to close so that I can fully step into my legacy? You're here to burn a new path, lit only by the fire that you can carry. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you crystal clarity, divine support, and the courage to rise. Until next week.